Hi there, I can't put the book down. I hope you are enjoying it as much as I am, although it's scary. This is chapter 7. The moment with the magpie unsettles the three of us. We discuss it over the next few days in our little bubbles. Me and Rue, Rue and Fiona, me and Fiona. The brief second when we all thought Lily was trapping us in the tennis courts. The realization that she could, her utter lack of regret for the magpie that tumbled out of the air. What is Lily actually capable of? In the question we are all asking. But asking not just magically, but morally. Rue gets his results the next day, and we decide to meet at Bridie's cafe after he's done with his parents. I buy 2 salted caramels, eclairs, and a huge pot of tea to celebrate with and sit on the low couch near the door, waiting and waiting. I check my phone a few times and start to get worried that maybe he has had a disappointing result and doesn't want to see me. I try to bring the excitement of my messages down a few octaves. I delete my WhatsApp that says, "Can't wait to celebrate," and instead say, "Can't wait to see you." After 20 minutes, Bridie comes over to me. "Sorry, pet," she says apologetically. She's odd, at least 80, and has always been very kind in the past. We have the couch booked. Would you mind moving to a smaller table? Booked? I asked, looking around. Bridie's is the cheapest cafe in Kilbeg. I'm surprised they even had a phone line with which to book parties. I move to a 2-seater table, the tea rapidly cooling. I pick the edges of the caramel icing with my fingers. Then the party comes in. I barely look up at first. 4 guys, a few years older than me. I text Rue. I text Rue again. Then I hear my own name, and Aaron is suddenly sitting across from me. "Is this for me?" he asked, pointing to the eclair. "No," I said sharply. "Leave me alone." "Have you thought about it?" My instinct is to get up and leave, but I realize then that this could be an opportunity. The longer I keep Aaron talking, the more I can burrow into his mind and figure out what is going on. "You want me to join the children," I say. "Why?" "It's hard to read someone's mind and start the process while they are looking right at you." I try to begin making my thoughts as blank as possible. "I think it would be good for you. I think you are very lonely." He annoys me too much. My mind refuses to unclutter. "That's big talk coming from someone with no friends. What do you call them?" He cocks his head to one side, motioning to the guys sitting on the couches. "Minions." "Does she still hate you?" he asks. "Lily, I mean." I stare at him. "Yes." "After everything you did to get her back?" he says. Seems a little rude. "Why are you talking to me about this?" He drums his fingers on the table. "There are things we can do to help. To help. How could you possibly help me?" Aaron gestures at the air. "Oh, I don't know. Love. Spells to keep Rue close. Friendship charms to make sure Fiona never leaves you. something to make school easier, something to make school irrelevant. My spine arches like a cat's. I know that this is Aaron's gift at work. He knows where the holes are. I feel curiously naked for a second, my worst traits exposed. Oh really, I hiss. And I suppose this is all free, is it? You wouldn't have to get involved in any of the preaching stuff if you don't want to. Well, isn't that kind? He picks a hair of her clothing. It's long and dark and unmistakably mine. It must have come from my jacket, hanging over the chair he's sitting on. But it disturbs me. Something of mine on something of his. Everything you did with Lily, he says again, whatever spells and charms and hexes. Then something happens. It's like time slows down. We should be half a second, a fraction of an expression, something utterly undetectable to normal people or persons, become clear and blatantly obvious. His eyes slide across me, and a look of uncertainty comes into his face. Spells, charms, hexes, he finishing. Suddenly, it's like he's showing me the whole hand of cards. I smile widely. You have no clue what we did, do you? I say, trying to force as much power and glee into my voice as possible. You are utterly dumbfounded by how we got Lily back. You are trying to figure it out. That is why you guys won't leave me alone. He says nothing, seems to grope at the air for a second. This ability, you see him so clearly, his motivation so obvious. Is this the special kind of magic that sensitives have? Are we alike? Like strange magical siblings? You don't have a clue, Aaron, do you? I keep smiling the biggest shit-eating grin I can manage. You have no idea why you are back in Kilbeg. No idea how we saved Lily. You are just some worthless henchman, aren't you? He settles back into his seat, the lost look disappearing into his face, now replaced by curious suspicion. I can see the abacus of his mind working. How does she know that? I don't know why we are here. Bridie, I say as she passes. Do you mind if I have a box to wrap this up in? I'm going to take them out. She nods in approval. Probably a sign I've been here too long. The children want magic, don't they? I continue. I don't know where I'm getting these lines or this poise from. I sound like a person in a film. I need to leave soon before I fluff it. They are bored of whatever it is you have to offer. They are just using you as a chum to catch the big sharks. I really hope that this is how sharks and chums work. Bridie comes back with a white pastry box and I carefully transport my cakes into it. I try to make every movement neat, precise. Like tra-la-la-la-la, I'm not all-powerful that I can talk about this stuff while arranging a picnic. You think I have something to learn from the children, I say, wrapping the box up, but I think that maybe you have something you want to learn from us. The cake's secure. I get to my feet and grab my jacket from his chair. That's two. he says smoothly. What happens after 3, Aaron? I hit back. Or do you think you are negotiating with a toddler? Because I know nothing actually happens after Mummy counts to 3. I glance at the guys on the couch as I go, who have all been peering indiscreetly at our conversation. They are all unsurprisingly extremely good looking. I'm slightly revolted by how basic the children actually are. This is what they've got. Hot 20-year-olds and hate doctrine? Who cares? There's a burst of sunlight on the street, blinding, almost, and the minute I get out of the cafe, I turn a corner, almost my back against the cold wall, my face in the shadows. The confidence and the power seeps out of me, and suddenly overwhelmed with my own weakness, I start crying. When I do finally meet Rue, he's full of apologies. We sit in his car and eat the eclairs, the fresh cream already starting to sour in the heat of the day. We are near the river in a little lay, surrounded by trees where people park the cars before taking their dog for a walk. Mum and Dad absolutely freak out. He crumbles. But why? He shows me his transcript. Gee, Rue, I say, almost shrieking. It says here you got 590. The leaving certificate is judged on your best 6 subjects. So the highest possible mark is 600. Yeah, he shrieks. It's really good, isn't it? Why are you sulking? This is amazing. You are a genius. I stare at the transcript again. But say, oh yeah, Dad blew up at me for wasting my points doing English at the KU, and then Mum cried. Why? Because her dad always dreamt of having a doctor in the family. I don't know, I got weird, he sighs. So then I told them the news. I decided to rip off every plaster at once. My eyes widened. I thought I had been brave today by telling off Aaron, but it's nothing compared to Rue. You told them about the name change? Yep, he shrugs again. That bit they were actually less annoyed about. He looks at his thumbs, and I realize that whatever news he told them, he is now gearing up to tell me too. Rue, I'm going on tour, he suddenly blurts. With honor. He lets the information go with the recklessness of a child with a helium balloon. I watched it drift up into the rafters of our lives. When did this happen? When did this happen? She got in touch a few days after the gig. Said she was planning a mini Irish tour in November, 2 weeks. Well, that's good, I say, tugging on his sleeve, trying to avoid the knot in my stomach. That's great, and you won't have to take too much time off college, will you? I mean, that's why you chose English, isn't it? Lots of essays you can do in my own time. Books you can read whenever. He nods and he continues. If that goes well, she said, we could talk about my coming to her European tour in April, but she loves small private ceremonies. She thinks she would have great chemistry on the road. Swallow hard, everyone's going to leave me. He's looking at me warily, terrified of what I'm going to say and how I'm going to react. No, Maeve, don't ruin this for him. This is so great, I say, wrapping my arms around him. That's so great. Wow, a European tour. She might invite me, he says sheepishly. So it's far off. It will come around quickly, I responded, and I can't keep the dismayed tone out of my voice. Rue doesn't seem to notice it, and if the European tour goes well, he continues, maybe I could defer my second year of college. I run my hands through his hair and try not to be sick. A genius and a rock star. It's so weird, Rue says. That night where Aaron crashed our gig, that's the whole reason Honor heard of us in the first place. Why, she reached out to Neil. Isn't that crazy? It all happened because of the housekeeper. She can be your downfall, I smile, or she can be your start. As I hold Rue, Aaron's words come back to me. You are very lonely. I know I am not alone, that I have Rue in my arms and friends who love me. Well, friend, who loves me? But the more they plan for their bright futures, their huge potential, their grand existence, the more I feel as if they are going from me already, that I'll be the only one left in Kilbeg. I started to kiss his neck, his ear, his mouth. I pull myself onto his lap. I love you, I murmur. I love you, and I'm proud of you. But what I mean is, don't leave me. Don't leave me. Please don't leave me. And that's the end of chapter 7. Good luck.